When it comes to mid-tower cabinets, the range of options is pretty much endless. The competition is stronger than ever, but yet, it feels rather uniform, with most of the gaming cabinets opting for similar looks. Well, today we're taking a glance at the Silverstone Seta A1, which tries to walk a different path. The Silverstone Seta A1 is a mid-tower ATX cabinet that comes with a rather novel front design that we haven't seen before in a lot of cabinets. While most competitors tend to show off the front fans with flashy RGB, the Seta A1 takes a radically different approach, covering the entire front with a raised shroud, which has diffused RGB lighting falling off from the top and the bottom. It's relatively subtle, looks elegant, and has a premium feel to it too. Behind the shroud, you'll find a mesh front panel with two huge 200mm intake fans. The rest of the interior, by and large, is actually very standard mid-tower stuff. Plus, there's a glass panel on the side for you to show off your rig as well. The top of the cabinet is mostly perforated to allow for airflow, with a mesh on top and a pretty solid set of front I/O options. There are two USB 3 ports, one USB Type-C, and a 3.5mm audio jack along with the power and reset buttons, which should be more than enough for your regular needs. Coming to the internal layout, there isn't really anything that stands out about the Seta A1. You get the standard ATX size space for the motherboard, a PSU shroud where you can fit in two 3.5-inch hard drives, and there are two trays behind the motherboard for 2.5-inch drives too. The width of the cabinet allows for a CPU cooler up to 175mm height, and the maximum allowance for the GPU can fit in a card that's up to 350mm long. The cabinet comes pre-installed with two 200mm fans in the front and a 120mm fan at the back. The top can support a 240mm radiator, while it's possible to fit a 360mm radiator in the front. And there's a filter at the bottom too to prevent dust going into the cabinet. From a performance perspective, the Seta A1 did not disappoint one bit. Our test build included the Ryzen 5 5600X CPU, a dual GPU setup with the AMD RX 6800 and the Galax GTX 1660 Super, powered by a deep-cooled 750W 80+V fully modular power supply. The idle CPU temperature stabilized around 31 degrees Celsius, while under full load, the maximum temperature was 72 degrees Celsius. Our GPU reached a maximum temperature of 70 degrees Celsius under full load, even with the dual card setup. While there's something to be desired when it comes to internal space, the Silverstone Seta A1 is a highly impressive cabinet, both in terms of overall design and performance. It strays away from the overly obnoxious RGB-filled visuals, opting for a much classier look, and we can't help but admire it. Thanks to the subtle lighting effects, this case can fit as easily in an office setting as it can in your gaming room. And there are plenty of options to cater to gamers and creators alike. It's a bit on the pricier side, but if you have the budget, it's definitely a solid choice for your next build.